that I didn't feel like doing then, but I'm doing it now. We're going to mix some henna. So, we have our light mounted henna. I'm going to pour it into our container. Let the henna sit. The thing is, doing it so late in the day, I'm gonna have to let the henna sit for a couple hours. I used to be more gung ho when I did henna. Like, I would keep it on for like. I don't have a cat anymore. My little cat Irina. I had a cat. Well, this is my mom's cat. This is Annie cat. So I had the beautiful little cat Irina up until September of 2020, and she passed away. I don't really talk about why or how she did. It was just very sad. It was a sad day, and I miss her very deeply, and I loved her. She's a great cat. My mom has cats. My mom has Chevy, who I've never gotten it done. I feel like I could do it myself too. I mean, I thought about doing it. I feel like if I practice, I could. Mostly I'm just a henna hair girly. Oh gosh, I poured that all in really quick. But it's beautiful. I love the designs. I just have never, I was thinking when I do it, I usually get my hands kind of stained. I cannot do it in here though. It is messy, golly. It's super messy. But I feel like it's like making a cake or something. And we're gonna put some rosemary essential oil in it. So rosemary, I mean, they say rosemary promotes hair growth like minoxidil. I mean, I don't know. I would never use minoxidil on my scalp personally. I just put a little bit in. I like these doTERRA. I want to do it like you've done the designs, the beautiful art designs. That's so cool. I've wanted to do it. The thing about that is I know you have to like have the henna cone, and I'd have to purchase thank you for subscribing, by the way, the henna cone. And this is what makes the henna smell really good to me, is this wild orange citrus. I think doTERRA might technically be considered, I don't know, an MLM, and a lot of people who sell it, they do that. But the one lady I buy it from, she doesn't sell it to a lot of people just to make money. I think she just likes it. Plus, I bought other essential oils. Like, I bought the one from Sprouts. Like, I have this one. That's the peppermint one from Sprouts. Yeah, I'm sure you are good. I could put in one a little. Well, that's a lot. Anyway. But I just feel like the one, how much olive oil did I pour in there? Was it a lot, maybe? I don't know. Should have bought the Tunisian olive oil, because this one's like a blend. And my sister was saying the other day, some olive oil's not real. And I'm like, yes, I know. I was going to buy the Tunisian one. I think it's better. They also have a California one, but the California one is $25. Oh my God. I'm not spending $25 on olive oil. Well, maybe soon. not tonight. For today. Ooh, this is a really thick olive oil. Maybe I'll just add a tiny bit of butter. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Because I kind of like it runny on my head, okay? Because this is not like design. If you're doing design henna, it needs to be very controlled. But this is just for my hair, so I put it on my hair. It does sting your like after I do it, they're like, what is going on with your palms? They're like orange. And this time I didn't put any indigo in it because I don't want to add indigo. I don't know. I used to always be about like wanting to put a little bit of indigo to temper down the red, but I don't know. I kind of want it red this time. Ooh. It's gonna have to sit for a while. Boop, 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 boop. You're very, maybe it's tiny. Tiny bit more water. Is henna. So henna gets better when it sits. It just does. It's like you have to let it sit. I know some people cover it, but I'm like, you really don't have to, because if you watch the Henna Sook channel with Khadijah, she's like, you don't have to do all that. Like back in the day, people were like, it has to be covered and you have to do this, but really, you just have to stir it up. Yeah. I still wanted a little bit more running than that though, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more water, I think. Not too runny this time. I'm trying not to be super runny, but I do like more running henna, to be honest with you. That's just my preference. But sometimes you just have to take the lumpiness and like you see it and you rub it against the, you know, that there's still lumps in there of the powder that didn't get mixed in. I keep adding more in. I'm like, I'm not done yet. Don't put lemon in your henna though, I say. If you're putting it on your head, because that's very drying. I've done coffee before. I don't know if I have any coffee left. Oh golly, I got some henna on my finger. Which is fine. I'm gonna get on my fingers later anyway. I just am trying to keep the kitchen clean. You know, I don't want to do the kitchen hurt. Well, I drank all the coffee. Of course I did. Although, I put some of this in here, and it's kind of like orange, I guess you could say. Lemon. I'm gonna let it sit here, but also I kind of get into stirring it. I can stir until the cows come home. I really can. I'm just like, that's such an American expression, until the cows come home. I don't think people say that. Well, maybe they say it in other countries, but. So when my mom was like a kid in the Midwest, she said, like growing up in Kansas, she said kids didn't have a lot of entertainment, so sometimes they used to do like these really silly prank calls. Like she was saying some of her friends would call just random people in the telephone book, because back in the 60s and early 70s, You didn't have the internet. You had a telephone book and pretty much everybody's number and address. This is super creepy when you think about it now, actually. We're in the telephone book. And you still can look up stuff like people that do ancestry, like research and stuff. Like you have digitized versions of telephone books. And it was super intrusive. It said if a man or a woman was the like living there in the household, and also up until like even I would say even in the 80s, a woman couldn't get a telephone number in Southern California in her name because my mom, like, she used to pay all the bills. Well, I mean, my dad worked, but she paid all the bills like a lot of women did. That's why I always laugh at this trad wife thing, because back in like the 50s and 60s, the women like had like there was this agreement that the husband would give the check to the wife because she was a good housekeeper with home economics, and even the videos back then would show it. And they would pay the bills. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna withhold all the money and you're my wifey poo, and you don't get a dime like these modern trad wives. That doesn't make any sense. That's just like a controlling relationship. But it's not even true because they have their own money from like being a social media influencer. But I digress. Anyway, you could be working even and not a stay-at-home mom. And if you wanted to get the telephone like in your name, okay? Like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, you couldn't get a telephone number in your own name if you were married like back in the 80s. I thought that's interesting. So people would call like so I'm going back for a little bit. If go back to the 60s, my mom said people like just as entertainment, they used to call random people on the telephone. She didn't do this, the telephone book, but just some kids she went to school with. And they would ask them questions like, is your refrigerator running? And the old man would say, yes, my refrigerator is running. And then they would say, you better go catch it. And they would hang up. I'm like, that is so cheesy. But I guess they thought that was really funny or something. Like, I guess it was good entertainment for them. I'm just thinking, life was more simple. I know life becomes more complicated in the modern world, but it doesn't really have to be. Like, I feel like this is a choice. Like, once again, like, I'm at home making henna, and yeah, I am, but I'm very like selective about like looking for like relationship. I just want to be happy, and that's more important to me than like being in a relationship, because it has to be with somebody good. So I'm single, but you know, just I like to be happy, and that's more important to me. Or the most important thing I've learned is guarding your energy and making yourself happy. You know, I'm sure you're a great person, but I don't know people on the internet. So anyway, this right here is henna. And I've mixed it a bit, and I don't want it to get all over the place. And I probably should later show like results on my hair. I think you're a great person, though, I'm sure. I think it's making my hair look a little redder lately than it actually is. I don't know, because my hair is not really super red, but I just feel like it kind of does bring out a lot of red highlights lately. I don't know, maybe somebody mixed it some last time or something. I'm like, looking a little red. I don't have red hair. But anyway, whatever. My hair's like dark brown. But the henna just brings out the red, I guess. I was like, I'm like, gee, my hair's looking really red. But I do love henna. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.